What's up, Internet? My name is Attack Slug, and I'm running a little bit late, but welcome to my Raw Reactions video for March the 7th, 2016. Let's discuss what happened on Monday Night Raw. We opened up with a Shane McMahon promo in Chicago, and basically, furthering this storyline between him and Vince fighting Taker at Mania, Hell in a Cell, etc., etc., etc. Kind of broke down some of the finer points. I thought that it was interesting that he went about talking about how he thinks that certain talent isn't getting the spotlight that they should, and there is other talent that is getting all the breaks that don't, or there's certain guys that get all the breaks but don't have the talent. And Chicago, the fact that you didn't start chanting Roman Reigns right there, you failed the fuck out of it, because that would have been a classic TV moment. Anyway, Taker's gong hits, but it's not Taker, it's Vince. Comes out and he calls The Undertaker The Under, and forgets the word Taker on there. So I guess we're just calling him The Under now. Some nice loud asshole chants from the crowd. Thanks for that. And then obviously you're in Chicago, so you're going to get some CM Punk chants. It is what it is. What are you going to do? But Vince has a picture of Shane as a kid that he throws and then steps on. And it was weird because, like, the picture didn't really break. Like, the glass broke, but, you can replace a frame. Like, that's not a big deal. But Vince obviously wants Shane out of his ring, so he calls security, and Shane's like, don't you do it, don't you do it, don't touch me. And of course they do, and then Shane proceeds to throw the worst punches in the world, like these little baby punches. They're, as much as I complain about Dean Ambrose and his punching ability, man, Shane was never a good striker. Like, he needs to actually hang out with Taker to learn what wrestling strikes should look like, because his looked terrible. Even back before he left, when he was feuding with Legacy, Randy Orton, Cody Rhodes, DiBiase, his punches were terrible. So there was that. That was the end of that segment. Anyway, first match of the evening was Kevin Owens versus Neville. This was a fun little match. Neville just pulling out some crazy shit on Raw. Very impressive with the amount of time that they were given. But Owens wins with a roll-up, and then proceeds to get salty and beat up Neville some more. Was going to give him the old apron powerbomb, but we get our main roster re-debut, because obviously he had a debut and came back, and he was in the Rumble. Sami Zayn is, I guess, officially on the main roster now, so I guess his last NXT thing is going to be fighting Shinsuke Nakamura at NXT Dallas, and I'm looking forward to that. But be that as it may, they kind of got into it a bit, so I guess we're going to have Sami Zayn versus Owens for the IC title at Mania, or are they going to add more guys to that match? Not really sure how it's going to happen yet, but I'll be curious to find out. I had said last week, the rumors that they were going to debut Sami Zayn in the main roster before Mania, I'm like, if you're going to do it soon. If you're going to do it in Chicago, because Chicago's a hot crowd. That's going to help the TV audience understand, okay, this is a guy that we should be excited about, and a hot crowd always helps. We moved to backstage stuff with Steph and Ziggler here about some Twitter nonsense, and I don't really care. But hey, Zack Ryder got on TV for about 5 seconds there, so that was a thing. Then we had Brie Bella versus Summer Rae, and I don't know why we're having Brie Bella versus Summer Rae on our TVs in 2016. I am counting down the days until Brie Bella decides to wrap it up, call it a career, and go make that bed and breakfast with Daniel Bryan. Be that as it may, we get an interruption, because apparently Brie Bella is feuding with Lana, which, again, I'm not sure why. And Lana comes out to interrupt and does the old, hey, my music is distracting, and then your opponent's going to roll you up. And it was a sloppy-ass roll-up, because Summer Rae and Brie Bella are both kind of terrible. But more importantly, what in the hell, or why in the hell, is Lana still wearing the I'm dating Dolph Ziggler denim gear? Like, what is the deal there? I thought she's back with Rusev. She's back to being the ravishing Russian. So, why is she still wearing this denim stuff? Why is she attacking Brie Bella? Why anything? None of this makes any sense. But, whatever. It was dumb. Anyway, next up was an Ambrose promo. And out comes Triple H, and they kind of go back and forth, and honestly, this stuff is way more interesting than Triple H and Roman Reigns, who, I might mention, not on the show at all. apparently still recovering from some nose surgery, and obviously that leads you to think, hey, he wouldn't be having this emergency nose surgery if he wasn't going to win the belt at Mania and parade around on all the talk shows afterwards. Food for thought. Anyway, that sets up our main event for tonight, which is going to be Dean Ambrose versus Bray Wyatt. I'll get to that in a minute. Anyway, next up is this match, which was set up from that thing backstage with Steph, because they were mentioning, hey, Survivor Series, remember that? Remember Survivor Series, where they got rid of the Authority for a whole month, and then John Cena decided that he was friends with Edge for some fucking reason, and it was a whole thing? Anyway, we had Ziggler versus a handicap match, Sheamus, Rusev, Barrett, who actually worked this match. He could work again, which is fantastic. No Del Rio for some weird reason. But my issue with this match, in particular, was all three of these guys individually have beaten Dolph Ziggler on any given evening. What is he doing? Nice. On any given evening, these three individuals could have beaten Dolph Ziggler. So how big of a chump does it make them look as the League of Nations that they had to have 3-on-1, and Barrett got pinned, because of course he did, and got eliminated. But they did end up winning the match, so there was that. Next up was Becky and Sasha, again, versus Naomi and Tamina, a Fastlane rematch. And they won a pretty quick match here, and then obviously there was, at ringside was your Divas champion Charlotte, who decided to attack those Divas. So there was that. Moving on. We had R-Truth bringing Goldust a Chicago deep dish style pizza, which honestly, when you opened it, that did not look deep dish enough. Like, I used to live in Illinois for a couple years, and I've certainly had the classic deep dish that did not look deep enough. And so the payoff to this was that they're still doing whatever they're doing with this whole Goldust and the Golden Truth thing, and that was dumb. And then they're lactose intolerance, and they explosive butts, and they leave. Mark Henry takes the pizza. The payoff was after the show. The payoff was Mark Henry coming to the ring after a bunch of guys are in the ring trying to fight the Wyatts, and Mark Henry comes out with the rest of the pizza and offers Braun Strowman a piece of pizza, who slaps it out of his hand, and then after that, he hands a piece to Stardust, who eats it and fucking is like, yeah! And like, that was all off the air. So, your payoff for this pizza thing was off the air. That's kind of fucked up. And the crowd was chanting pizza. It was great. It should still be on YouTube. Go look for it. It's pretty good. Anyway, next match was the best match on the whole show, which was Y2AJ versus The New Day. And this was a fantastic TV match. Had a hell of a lot of energy to it. Good times. And then The New Day pulls out the victory. And then Chris Jericho heel turns on AJ Styles with 3 code breakers. And so, does that mean we're going to get another match between AJ and Chris Jericho? Like, is that where we're going here for Mania? Like, they don't have any other ideas? I guess. I mean, if they're going with Owens and Sami Zayn for the IC belt, then you could theoretically have Styles and Jericho for like the 4th or 5th time here. But like, I don't see why you would. Anyway, I bet those Y2AJ shirts were a hot ticket. They lasted the whole 1 week. Good job, Shop Zone. Anyway, next match up was Kalisto versus the perennial jobber Tyler Breeze, doing the job to your U.S. champion. And honestly, he needs something now. He's the U.S. champion. Give him, a feud, and then that gets set up in a little bit. So obviously, quick match. Kalisto wins. Whatever. Poor Tyler Breeze. We've got Big Boss Man going into the Hall of Fame. I discussed that in a video like yesterday or the day before. Good for him. But most notably, there was no footage of the Attitude Era Big Boss Man. It was all like late 80s or mid 80s Big Boss Man. So that was kind of like he had more of a career than that. He went to WCW and then he came back, and there's more to it than just his run as, the guy from Cobb County, Georgia, etc., etc. So perhaps we'll get more of that in the actual Hall of Fame video package, or perhaps they're just not going to acknowledge it, that he fed Al Snow his own dog, Pepper Steak. He dragged Big Show's dad's corpse in a casket these things happened. Go look them up. Anyway, we get a backstage thing with Kalisto and Ryback, because Ryback is insane. And he's talking about, like, superhero movies and big muscles, and, like, none of it makes any sense. But that leads us directly into Ryback versus social outcast Curtis Axel, who had a bizarre thing before the match, being like, yee, yee, doing like like, what the hell is he even doing? Like, I like all of these social outcasts individually. I think they all have an upside to them. But, like, they're totally just wasting TV time with just some nonsense. It's like, they saw what the New Day was doing and thought they could replicate what the New Day was doing, but the guys in the New Day are way more talented on the microphone and with what they do than the guys in these social outcasts. So that's kind of a shame. So, like, do your own thing, be yourself, but what is the yee? Like, what the hell was that? Anyway, obviously, Ryback comes through here, just pretty much runs through Axel, and Ryback, of all people, doing the CM Punk high knee and goes like this, and I'm like, and then obviously the crowd's gonna start chanting CM Punk. Obviously there's history with Ryback being dumb as fuck and CM Punk, and that was like, what are you, like, don't encourage it. Like, he's not coming back. There's no payoff for this. The only other thing that I'm disappointed in, that's a fucking terrible ass roll up, just like real life. The only other thing that I'm disappointed in with that match is that we went through the whole thing, the whole segment with Ryback and Curtis Axel, and not one mention of Rybaxel, that awesome tag team. Not one. Not, hey, former tag team partners. Like, I was kind of half paying attention, but certainly I would have recalled if they actually mentioned Rybaxel, and I don't think they did, which is fucked up. Always acknowledge previous history. It adds to the character dimensions in the story. Just do it. Anyway, main event was Dean Ambrose versus Bray Wyatt, and that was, you know, they had a feud, and that was what it was. Those matches are alright. But the match obviously ended up with a DQ because of the Wyatt family, and they all attack Dean Ambrose. And then out comes Triple H, and they kind of tease a little bit Bray Wyatt looking at the world title and laughing. And as much as they've been burying, or not burying, but like not properly using Bray Wyatt, I think certainly he has also a tremendous upside, and he is a redeemable character who could be being used better. So who knows? Perhaps they'll actually build him properly one day instead of having him lose every major feud that he's in, which is kind of unfortunate. And then out comes Triple H to end the show, and he's going to beat up Dean Ambrose again, but Dean Ambrose is too quick, gets him with the dirty deeds, just like that. And Triple H, to his credit, sells like a motherfucking champ. He gets hit with the dirty deeds, and he's just out. No twitching, no like rolling out of the ring, just out. And that, top notch. Triple H, for everything you can say about Triple H, he is certainly a student of wrestling, understands what works and what doesn't, and that 100% was awesome. And then you end the show with Dean Ambrose holding the belt, and obviously you're going into Roadblock, that glorified house show, this Saturday evening. So that begs the question that all this stuff with Triple H and Dean Ambrose, which has been carrying the show, which you really want to carry your show with what should be a WrestleMania feud, which is in like 20-something days. Not, hey, everything is building toward Roadblock, which is essentially a house show that we're just going to put on the network. Like, that to me is baffling, because you should be building everything to WrestleMania, but obviously having Roman Reigns not be in front of a Chicago crowd and getting himself booed the crap out of obviously benefits them. But that begs the question. We get past Roadblock, you still have a Raw in Brooklyn before WrestleMania. Are you really going to have Roman Reigns not be there in front of that crowd that is assuredly going to boo the crap out of him? So that remains to be seen. I'm a tax slug. This is my Raw reactions. Let me know what you thought about Raw this week in the comments below. And I'll see you next time, and every day for more videos right here on this channel. And I'm out.